Hi boys and girls, so I thought I'd make a vid on when you first notice you're balding, so you're starting to bald. For me this was in my early 30s. I had a mirror in front of me like this, put it behind my head. I had like a big mirror in front on my wardrobe, so then I was looking at the back, looking at the crown. I noticed a bald spot and I thought, no, I can't be bald, I can't be starting to bald, because my dad's not bald, my brother's not bald, they got full set of light hair. So I thought, I can't be balding, but I was. I kept thinking maybe it's the lighting, maybe I'm under a bright light like I am in here. And then you start looking every day and you look more and more and more, different lighting, and you realise, yeah, you're starting to go bald. So this vid, I thought I'd give you a few tips on what you can do to maybe make yourself feel better if you don't want to be going bald. What you can do to sort of try and hide the baldness if possible. So when you first start noticing that you're balding, and this vid is for people that are just starting to go bald. If you're completely bald on top, then the tips in here probably won't help you. So if you're just noticing that you're starting to bald, for me it was on the crown back here. It's like the back of your head at the top. And it was a small little spot, but it started getting bigger and bigger, and the more you stress over it, the more it seemed to bald. Then I noticed that I was starting to bald, not in the middle, but on the widow's peaks, these bits here, they were starting to go back. And some of you are probably thinking, well, why are you making a hair vid about balding when you're not exactly bald? Well, for those that don't know, I've had 2 hair transplants. One was for the front and sort of middle, and the second one I went back a few years later for the crown. Had these at Dr Cinik in Istanbul. But you can check out my other vids all about that. Both those vids, both those operations, I've videoed a lot about those, so you can check those out. So this vid is about what you can do. So I'm going to start with something that's free. You don't get much for free, but you notice you're balding, what can you do? So for me, because like I said, it was on the crown, a spot, and I don't know how well this will work, if you're going to be able to see it all that well, but where the crown is, you'll know that the hair, some call it a whorl, some call it a whirl, kind of goes round like that, the hair in a natural direction. For me, this is kind of clockwise, it goes round like that. So a lot of people, the sort of crown, the middle point where it starts balding, mine was just to the side of it really, but it's kind of around there. You know, in the old days, you used to see videos with people in films that had done comb overs, like comedies and stuff. So they were bald on top, and they used to grow really long on one side and comb it over. Now, I'm not suggesting that because I don't think that looks great. But what you can do, and what I know quite a few people have done effectively, and I did it myself for a lot of time, where it's balding in the crown, if it's a small bit, you can not so much a comb over, you do kind of comb it over, but you don't grow it really long, you just comb, so you try and move your wall down a bit so that the circle kind of starts a bit further down at the back, and then you basically comb upwards, so the hair at the bottom, you kind of push it up more, so you start styling your hair by pushing it up. So instead of combing down there, you kind of keep the circle going but comb it upwards, so it kind of covers it over, so you kind of going up there to sort of cover the bald spot. So where you're bald there, you kind of going up and covering it. So yeah, so you're basically starting sort of where if you've got a hairstyle that goes forwards, kind of starting it a bit lower down and pushing it upwards rather than combing your hair straight down at the back. Kind of covers the bald spot then. Now the other thing is, I started receding. These bits here, the widow's peaks, mine started going really kind of like this. So it was okay in the middle, but the sides started going back. It's kind of going back towards the bald spot, and it was kind of balding on top as well. This was a few years after I realised I started going bald. So with those, what I did, because I was brushing it forward still, I kind of grew it longer. So the bits back here, I kind of grew longer and brushed them forwards as well. So, and I still had it cut at the front to try and make it a bit more inconspicuous. So what you're doing with baldness all the time, you know, if you haven't had a hair transplant and stuff like that, you're just trying to make yourself look less bald. Those of you that are happy going bald, then so be it, you know, brilliant. For me, it wasn't like that. I didn't want to be going bald. But you know, if you're happy like that, some people say shave it all off and be done with it. That's fine, you know, if you're into that. I personally, if I shave all mine off, I don't particularly like the way I look. So I thought, you know, I want to keep my hair as long as possible. So that's one tip. The other, you know, it's part of the same sort of tip really, is the hair down the sides. I was balding kind of in the middle as well. So what I did was, you don't have to have a mohawk, but just kind of comb it sort of together so it's kind of in the middle. And even those bits I was combing sort of around like that. It wasn't a comb over, but just kind of both sides, just pushing them up, you know, and keep them sort of fairly short, but because you don't want like a massive comb over, but you just want to kind of get them to cover the bald spots. You're basically just covering everything. So that is the free tip, and that works well for a lot of people. I know a lot of people that do that, and like I said, I myself did it. I was one of these people. I knew nothing about hair loss. I thought I would never afford a hair transplant. I thought it was just footballers and film stars that could afford that sort of thing. Then I found out it was a bit cheaper in Turkey, so I managed to save up and had my first hair transplant at the age of 43. Second one I had a couple of years back. I would have had it sooner, but because of COVID, everything got put back, so I had the crown done then. So that's my first tip. The second tip, and this I found out, and I've spoken about this before, hair fibres. This one's not free, you have to buy them obviously. You can buy them like eBay, Amazon. I used to get mine on Amazon, and I'm going to leave a link below to the ones that I used to use. I've tried loads of different ones, expensive ones, cheap ones, and to be honest, they're not much different. Ones I used in the end, which were a fairly good price, and you got quite a lot in one sort of jar, was called Beaver. So they were good. I'll leave a link to them. What you have to do is find the right colour. So you have to find the one that's sort of closest to your natural hair colour. For me, I use the dark brown ones. You don't have to have it dead on, but try and get the similar sort of colour. And it comes in like a jar, kind of like this sort of thing. I don't actually have any to demonstrate because I don't need them anymore, so I don't have any. But it's like powder, it's like dust. So you do have to have some hair, but if you're balding, they are so good. You just sprinkle it on. It's just like this. You just sprinkle. It's like sprinkling like pepper, that sort of thing, onto your hair. And they just stick with the static. So that's really cool. And some of you are probably thinking, well, what happens if it rains? They do stay stuck in really well if you do sports, that sort of thing. Some places sell expensive like salt stuff that you can spray on your hair to keep them stuck in. Some places just use like a hairspray. You can use just normal hairspray. I didn't use anything and they still stayed in all the time. They're staying all day. The downside to them is they can get a bit messy. If you don't have a hair wash in the evening, if you go to bed, they can get on your pillow and stuff like that, especially if in the summer if you're sweating at all. But they were a lifesaver, believe me. For years I used these, for like 10 years, and people are like, why are you getting a hair transplant? You're not that bald. Believe me, I was. Without my fibres in, I wouldn't go out the door without them. It's like women and their makeup. Some don't like going out without makeup on. I wouldn't go out without my hair fibres in. So you literally sprinkle them on. They are amazing. Unfortunately, they can't give you a fringe if you want a low hairline, but they just stick. So if you've got bald bits on top or at the back, they're brilliant. They just cover it so well. That is a major tip. So that one costs a bit. Then we get on to some other things which I didn't try when I was younger because the price is Finasteride is really good for some people. Some people can't take it. I can't take it because I donate blood. I could stop donating blood, but I want to, for personal reasons, keep donating blood. They don't allow it, so I've never taken finasteride, but it does work well for a lot of people. So read up about it if you're thinking about it. It doesn't have to cost a fortune. You can go to places like Dr Fox online. A lot of guys on my hair group, they go there to get their finasteride. There are places that do finasteride and minoxidil in a pill. And that brings me on to my next tip, is minoxidil. Now, some of you know it as Regain or Rogaine. It depends. US call it one thing, Europe call it something else. It's the same stuff, minoxidil, and that's just one of the brands. There's a lot different. There's Kirkland. There's quite a few places that do it. You can go on eBay, but what you do is the topical, the liquid form. You can get liquid or foam. And you just rub it on twice a day onto your bald spot. Basically, it says it works just on the crown, but it's because it wasn't tested on other areas, but it does work on other areas, and some guys even put it on their beard if they're trying to grow a beard. So for me, I tried this years ago. It was quite pricey. I felt it was a bit messy, it was greasy, putting it on twice a day, especially with my hair fibres, they would stick to it. I didn't love it, and I didn't feel it did tons for me. So this brings me on to my next thing. I now, after my hair transplants, because also I want to keep my hair as long as I can, I want it to sort of stay good, and I'm 49 next month, so some of it is due to my age. Luckily it seems to have slowed down my balding. It's not as aggressive as what it was in my early 30s. So I now take oral minoxidil, which is basically a pill every day. It's also called Loniten, and it can be used to help people with blood pressure and stuff like that. So I take it one pill a day, and I love it. I think it's so much more convenient than putting liquids and foams on your head. I don't forget to take it because I just take it at the same time every day, and it's so much better. And the other thing is, it's supposed to work 30% more effectively on people. So if the liquid and foam didn't work for you, try the pills. Now these have not been approved in the UK yet, I don't think. So what it is, you can buy them online, and I'll leave a link below. I can manage to get you 50% off if you want to try them. You buy 3 months in one go, just comes through the post. So to get it, you have to go through and answer some questions, and then one of the doctors online will assess whether you're okay to use it. It's pretty cool. It comes through post in about a week, and then I think you just set it up so it will come through every 3 months. You can cancel if you don't want to keep taking it. I've been so impressed with this though. Even after my second op, you could sometimes, under bright light, like this is a really bright light in here, you could see a little bit of like skin where some of the hair was not as thick as what it could be. Bear in mind, you're never going to have hair like when you're a teenager, so you just got to do the best with what you can get. So yeah, I take these now, and I'm so impressed with them so far. So good. I've only been taking them for 4 months, and you should be taking them for a year to sort of see the results, but for me it just feels like the hair is thicker, because what minoxidil does, it helps get the blood to the area, so your hairs don't sort of miniaturize as much, they don't fall apart, they don't just sort of snap off and bald. They're basically, it gets the blood flowing, especially I found it really good for my crown area. So it gets the blood there, helps strengthen your hairs, so brilliant. I've had no side effects from them, no problems whatsoever, and from my perspective I think they're brilliant. Finasteride, like I said, I've not taken. Finasteride is to try and help keep the hair that you've got by blocking sort of DHT and all that sort of thing, but with minoxidil it's there to try and sort of strengthen your hair and try and grow it and help it, and from my perspective it has really well. So that's my third tip. Basically, number one, style your hair. If you're starting to go really bald on top, my advice would be don't grow the sides and the back, because if you're bald on top, nothing in my view looks worse than if it's really bushy on the sides and the back. That just makes you look older, it looks old-fashioned, and it emphasises the baldness on top. If you're going to go bald like that, I'd suggest just shaving it really low on the sides and back. But yeah, so there's that. So styling, try and style it. So, like some of you have seen in my vids, I've had my hair, I've managed to style it backwards using product to sort of hold it back. At the moment, I've cut it recently, the fringe was getting really low, I did like going down there, so now I've cut it back. And yeah, I'm really pleased. I've been out today, I've just got back from the gym, so it's a bit sort of shiny at the moment. So styling, number two, hair fibres, brilliant, they're a godsend, and they don't cost too much. You know, you can get them on Amazon, like I said, I'll leave a link below. And the oral minoxidil is number three. That isn't really hiding it, it's just that's trying to help grow it. So I would take those, if I could go back in time, I'd start again and take those to sort of try and help me grow the hair before it was balding anymore. But yeah, I'm really pleased. I've had my 2 hair transplants now. I'm trying to do the best for my hair. Drink a lot of water, do a lot of exercise, cardio, still try and do as much weights as I can. I can't lift as much now as I used to. Still taking my vitamins. Some people say it does nothing, but got multivitamins and minerals. Saw palmetto. I've noticed recently on Amazon UK you can't get saw palmetto hardly at all now, or if you have to get it on prescription or whatever, but I've always bought mine on Amazon. I think you can get it from Holland and Barrett and health shops like that. Biotin is another one I've always taken, strengthens my hair. This one's got coconut oil in it. Yeah, like that's 400 tablets, one a day, obviously lasts you over a year. My girlfriend takes those as well, and the vitamins. So yeah, I just buy them in as big a container as that. Another one, the multivitamins, that's 400 pills, so if we both buy one, it lasts over a year. So yeah, that's what I've been taking. So as you can see, it's quite, yeah, doing quite well. This is under a really bright light at the moment, and yeah, it's really pleased with it. It's just it's hard to sort of show you. So yeah, really. The other thing, if you want styling stuff, a lot of people say to me about styling, I've started using this Slick Gorilla. Check out my little vid. I did a little short vid on that, showing putting it into a little mohawk. And also I use the Gents of London, and that is really cool. It's just like products that you just put in your hands, rub it in and style your hair. It does really well. So that is my tips for now. Those are my tips, I should say, for now. Any questions, leave a comment below. If you like the vids, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it 2 thumbs down. If you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. I don't do as many hair vids now, but check out all the others I have done, because I've done a lot in the past over my 2 hair transplants. I've also done a load of travel vids because I travel quite a lot, so feel free to check them out. Okay, cheers, bye.